Hi everybody, this is Dr. Mashak with another podcast, and today we have a very special guest. Someone who has shaped a lot of how the local healthcare community operates. He's known for being a patient advocate, he's known for his innovation in hospital management, and being a true leader in the healthcare community in San Antonio, Texas. And of course, he's also the CEO of Methodist Metropolitan Hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Seiler. Greg, a very warm welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Wonderful to be here.
Thank you. So, first question, the most important question. So many years of hard work and commitment, and you have finally made it to this podcast. How do you feel about it?
It's I'm a huge podcast listener, so it's really, honestly, it's my first podcast, so it's really cool to be here, and I'm honored to be here. I think this is wonderful that you do this.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
Before we dive more into healthcare administration and leadership kind of questions, I wanted to ask you an open-ended question for someone who doesn't know you to get to know more about you.
Yes.
Who is Greg Seiler and what's his story?
Wow. Great. Well, what's my story? We're in Boerne. I'm from Boerne originally. Back when Boerne was a very small town, I grew up here. It's a big metropolis as compared to back then. Back then we had two traffic lights. One of them was a flashing light. So I grew up in a small town of Boerne. I was born in San Antonio. We moved out here when I was young. My education, I'm an Aggie. I went to Texas A&M.
Yes.
So honestly, I'm in a bit of mourning right now because of the Thanksgiving loss this year. But Texas A&M, majored in biomedical science. I went on to graduate school at Trinity University, and where I am in my career now, I'm married. I've been married for 35 years. I have two amazing daughters. Both we're empty nesters. Both of my daughters are out of school. One lives in Los Angeles, going to grad school at USC. The other one is in Washington, D.C. She works for the Senate.
Wow, that's awesome.
So it's a little bit about me. I mean, honestly, I'm very blessed. I'm a very blessed man. I'm very happy, and I try and enjoy every aspect of life.
Awesome. That was an incredible way to summarize it.
Yes.
I was reading up on you, and,
Yes.
I saw that you initially leaned toward the medical professional itself before switching to healthcare administration. How and when did you learn that switching to administrative side could be the way for you to contribute more as compared to being on the clinical side?
You're right. I've always been interested in science, and so that's really where my interest in medical aspects. I've always been interested in how our body works, and it's just amazing. So I kind of was going in that direction. Biomedical science was my major at A&M, but I wasn't sure, and I actually had a friend there at school. His father was a physician.
Okay.
And honestly, his father said, maybe you should look at healthcare administration. And so we kind of started down that path. I took some years to try and figure out what I wanted to do, honestly. And looking at healthcare administration, I finally figured out I think that I could have that science exposure and really satisfy that need, but also work with people and have that impact in a larger scale, and obviously talk to a lot of people along the way. But I'm certainly glad I made that decision.
You made the right choice.
Yes.
I think a lot of people see the charm of being like the hospital CEO or CEO of a big company,
Yes.
similar to how people see the thing in being a physician. But there's always like the other side of it that people don't really notice.
Yes.
So as somebody who's in a big leadership position, what is the other side of healthcare administration that you would want people to be aware of?
Sure. Well, as we know, I think one of the biggest differences or biggest challenges in healthcare and hospitals, and you as a physician know this as well, it's 24/7, 365.
Yes.
We never close at the hospital. I've had 30 people over to my house at Thanksgiving. I'm in the middle of dinner. I'm on the phone with an orthopedic surgeon about an issue at the hospital. And there are another physician at the hospital who I'm friends with. He was complimenting me one day and just kind of recognition of everything that happens in the hospital. And he says, but I do want to call and say, I have a complaint, the coffee's not hot enough. And, it's kind of he realized it. He said, you have so much responsibility. It's everything, including making sure that the coffee is hot enough. And I teach at, one of the things I do now, I've done for 4 years, is teach at Trinity University, where I went to receive my master's, and I teach first year healthcare administration students. And one of the things I tell them some of what I just said, but that it will eat you up if you allow it, because of the 24/7, 365, the commitment. And so it's very important to have your foundation set, so when you're not on, or when in the weekends or whenever, you have to be able to take some time off and have go-to places or family members, your faith or whatever, to really help you get through some of the rough times and the breadth of things that you have to handle. So it's a big job, but on the other hand, there are a tremendous amount of things that are so satisfying, gratifying about it, that makes you go to sleep at night and helps you go to sleep at night.
Wow. Yeah, that's beautiful. So doing it for so many years, I'm sure you have progressed into a different person than you were.
Yes.
If a 90-year-old Greg Seiler, like the Bernie kid, that he sees you now, maybe shadows you for a day as the life of a CEO.
Yes.
What do you think he will be most surprised to see you?
Probably, thinking about the way I was back then, probably would be surprised maybe at the I'm naturally a reserved person.
Okay.
So probably surprised to see how I speak in front of crowds or groups, or the level of confidence that I've had just because of the experience. It's very humble, but I'm confident in the things that I need to be able to do. So probably that, growing up in a small town, especially the way Bernie was back then. Then I went to A&M, which at that time had 35,000 students. Now it's a lot more. But I remember walking around just thinking, oh my goodness, this place is huge. And walking around for 2 weeks and never even seeing anyone that I knew, that I'd never seen before. And so there's been a big maturation of the Greg Seiler that was started in Bernie and then went to A&M and Trinity. And so it's all continuous learning. I'm still learning today. And so it's a journey.
It's a journey, absolutely.
Yes.
Beautiful. So piggyback on conversations.
Yes.
Your job entails tough conversations with
Yes.
physician leaders, strong-minded people who have obviously strong opinions about what they want. Is there a way to navigate through those situations? How do you get everybody aligned on the same page so frequently?
Yeah. It's a challenge. So, I think what I really try and focus on is what is the why.
Okay.
Whatever the issue may be, what is whether it's me attempting to steer something some way, why am I doing it? Just getting down at the core and looking what our common interests are, between whether it's a physician group or employees or community or patients or whatever, but really kind of get down to the core. Why are we talking about what my goal is for you to win and me to win, and so it's hopefully too, over the years, and what I try and develop and what I've tried to develop over the years is a level of credibility and trust, such that when I'm speaking with physicians, they don't think that I'm just trying to do them a once over or a one over or anything, or that I'm trying to steer them in a direction that's not going to be advantageous for them. Certainly, I know physicians are our customers, and so I really do view our physician community as my customer and partner, and that's what I like in return. And so I've had my longevity at Metropolitan, 13 years, really does come in handy, honestly, with with that many times because people know me.
Yes.
And they know they know that when I say something, I'm telling the truth, and it helps in conversations and issues. And I've been able to honestly avoid conflict by having one-on-one conversations. And they've said, you know what, you're right. I know you. I know what you've done. We don't need to have that big meeting with all of the obstetricians. I'll tell them we don't need to have that meeting with the administration. So it's that's the goal with that.
Absolutely. Yes. So speaking of your leadership, Methodist Metropolitan Hospital, under your leadership in the last few years, have gone from having, mixed reputation to winning like national recognition, highest safety scores, and building their trust in the community. Walk me through this journey. How did that happen? What steps did you take? And if you look back into all of those years, what do you think went well for you?
Yes, you're right. When I got there 13 years ago, it was a lot different than what it is today.
Yes.
And I think the first thing that I saw when I got to Metropolitan, aside from they didn't tell me all this stuff when I took the job, was, I think if I had to pick one word, it was just leadership. And the people, there were wonderful, always have been wonderful people at the hospital, but there's just been a desire, especially back then and today, of course, but there was a bigger gap back then of just leadership, someone who could lead the organization, take care of the organization, stand up for the organization, instill pride in the organization, hold people accountable, whether you like it or not, whether people say it or not, people want to be held accountable.
Absolutely.
And that was not happening. And so, there were things like, an example, something might break on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
And they might call and whomever it would be and say, hey, X broke. Can we need to get that fixed? And the answer was, oh no, well, we can't do it. We'll do it on Monday. And so my response to that is absolutely not.
Yeah.
This needs to be fixed today. You call whoever you need to call. They need to come in and fix it now. So because that's not the way we operate anymore. And so there were people that, kind of stood up straight in their chairs or stood up straight and saw, okay, well, maybe this is going to be a little different. And along with that, we worked very hard on our quality.
Okay.
We really focused on quality and service. Our thought process was quality, service, those things in particular, and everything else will follow. Our growth, more people want to come to the hospital if we provide high quality and high service. Physicians will want to bring their patients to the hospital if we have high quality and high service, and then the finances will follow as well. So we really focused on those areas, and through accountability, through leadership, through getting everyone on the same page, we were able to begin to see success. And the other thing that we did, especially early on, when we had even just a millimeter of success, we would celebrate it completely.
Nice.
So, and then as we began to receive some of those awards, we really celebrated them even more. And then people started looking and saying, hey, what's going on down there? Maybe that is a good place. And another example, we used to have a very difficult time of when we had openings in leadership of getting people to apply because the reputation.
Sure.
And but we had a tipping point where we had one executive join us, and people knew her from around town, and they saw once she joined, people started saying, wow, if she's going there, there must be something good there. And then that kind of, the snowball started going in the right direction, and more people. Now when we have openings, we have a lot of good candidates to choose from. So it's been a huge journey. Our reputation, really paid a lot of attention to reputation. but honestly, the other thing we had to do is just be consistent, make sure the details, and not get, the celebrations, we certainly did them, but we didn't get too proud of ourselves at the same time.
Good.
Because we knew that we're not perfect, and we knew there's going to be some highs, and we know there's going to be some lows, and our goal is just try and stay steady, consistent, be disciplined, be accountable, and those are some of the things that we've done to get to where we are. Huge amount of physician involvement as well, with a lot of wonderful physician leaders, ownership of what happens at the hospital. I can't go without mentioning that the physicians were a huge part of that.
That's awesome. As somebody who started at Metro, I feel like whatever effort you have put in, it led to a complete change in culture.
Yes.
That has led to this enormous success, and I can't give you enough credit for that.
Thank you.
Alright, so you had the opportunity and the chance to be CEO of a bigger Methodist hospital and a smaller Atascosa hospital as well.
Right.
I'm curious to see what can be learned from smaller hospitals, smaller communities. I'm sure there are things that they do better than Metro that we can learn from them. What has that experience been like, managing two places with very different dynamics?
You're right. It is. It's a completely different way of doing things. I suppose the best way to describe the way Atascosa operates, it is small. It's about 40 beds, very busy ER, but and it's the only place in the community. So only hospital in the community. And as a result of the size, people at Metro, for instance, the job descriptions are pretty narrow.
Mm-hmm.
In the smaller hospitals, the job descriptions are much wider and broader because people have to just figure out, I don't have a quality director,
Sure.
so I'm going to kind of do that role. I don't have an abstractor of information, so okay, I'm going to do it. And so wearing a bunch of different hats is one of the things that they do so well. And everyone says in our hospitals or our culture that we're a big family. There is no one that is better at that than Atascosa, Methodist Hospital Atascosa.
Okay.
They define, I think, family. They are very close. One statistic or one metric, they have single-digit turnover. So once people go to work there, they don't leave because they're part of the family, and in a good way. And they don't want to leave. So taking that, and I really do feel like Metropolitan is a family, but it's so huge that
Yes.
But Atascosa really does define that, and they take care of each other. They are so involved in the community, and the community, it's very mutual. The community loves the hospital because they're it. But at the hospital there takes full advantage or full ownership of that, and is ingrained into the community like no other
That's
hospital.
beautiful.
Yes.
Definitely something I think we can learn and improve on.
Absolutely.
Well, speaking of improving ourselves, there's like this big news of 200 million plus renovation coming to
Yes.
Metropolitan Methodist. I,
Yes.
as a physician, is very excited to hear about it. I'm sure the downtown community would really be excited about it. Tell us a little bit more about it. What is your goals with that expansion, and what do you think it's going to mean for the community out there?
Yes. Well, when I got here 13 years ago, there were 6 hospitals that took care of adult patients in our service area.
Okay.
Now there are 3
Wow.
hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
So that, plus we all know the huge growth of San Antonio in general. There's been a huge growth and revitalization of the area in and around the Metropolitan. So basically we just need more room.
Okay.
Because there are fewer beds in our service area, plus the additional growth just has created a huge demand. In addition to that, the continued growth that we see in the future is going to require more in-depth and a greater depth of services that we can provide. Our goal at Metropolitan is to provide everything necessary for the patient so they don't have to go anywhere else.
Absolutely.
And we've made a lot of great strides in the last few years, especially in the cardiovascular area, in the pulmonary area, and intensive care areas so that fewer patients have to go elsewhere for care when they get to those higher levels of acuity.
Mm-hmm.
So this investment is a recognition, I think, from our board of what we've done, but also recognition from our board of what we're doing and what we will do in the future and what our community needs. And so, yeah, we're extremely excited about the from a downtown community standpoint that we have this. Metropolitan's the second largest hospital in the Methodist system, the third largest hospital in San Antonio. So we've grown, and now this is going to give us the ability to continue to grow. Specifically, we're in an more urban area, so parking is an issue.
Yes.
And so we're building a big, about almost 1,000 space parking garage. That's part of the investment. We are adding 3 additional operating rooms, one of those a hybrid room, so that more advanced vascular, more advanced cardiac, more advanced neurosurgical cases can be done there. And a new cath lab, our cardiovascular growth, cardiovascular disease, still the number 1 killer in our country. And so the need for that is doing nothing but grow. And then 60 additional beds.
Nice.
So we will be at about 440 beds when we finish the expansion. So that's making more room for people, but also being able to do more for those people once they come to our hospital. Very excited. Very excited.
Give us so much more resources to the physicians who want to help patients. Yeah, that is all great news. I'm so proud of you to have achieved that for the entire community.
Thank you. Thank you.
A small feedback that I would like to give as somebody who's been in San Antonio for a few years. I've had the chance to work in all the bigger hospital groups.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of support that we as physicians get at the Methodist Healthcare System is not comparable with any other place, and I would not want to be anywhere else either.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. That's what we want. That's what we want.
Absolutely.
Yes.
This last question is more of a feedback that I would want from you as somebody who is in a leadership position.
Yes.
So, Health 210 Primary Care Clinic is a group of independent physicians. We are all Methodist physicians as well. And I think what this connection has helped me is with continuity of care. I see my patient in the Methodist Hospital. I get to see them in the clinic, and then I see them getting better. It helps foster a relationship between me and my patient that I really, really value. From a leadership standpoint, what do you think could possibly be like a collaboration between bigger hospitals and these community clinics that can mutually benefit each other and our patients?
Yeah. Well, the model of a hospitalist, I just found out today or the other day, it actually started, one of my students from Trinity said, it started in 1996, was when the first hospitalist.
Okay.
So a great model that pretty much everyone uses today. It helps with the efficiency of what happens in the hospital, as opposed to the old days where the patients in the hospital have to wait for the physician to see their patients in the clinic and then go into the hospital and make decisions. Wonderful model from that standpoint, but you use the word continuity and consistency. It could be a gap with hospitalists. If you have a patient here that has a abnormal lab, but it's normal for them, but maybe abnormal to others. If they go to the hospital and the patient, you've been taking care of them for 20 years.
Yes.
All these additional studies and everything. So to close that gap of what you all are doing by providing information, knowing your patients, also taking care of them in the hospital with the information that you have in the clinic is, I think that's the model.
So you mentioned about being a CEO as a 24/7, 365 job.
Yes.
There's a big concept in physicians called physician burnout.
Right.
I'm sure there is something called a CEO burnout as well. So I would like to know what you like to do to stay grounded and to prevent burnout because this is something that you've been doing every day for like years and years and years.
Right. I mentioned when I was talking about 24/7, what I tell my students is you have to have a firm foundation because there's going to be some really tough days. Mm-hmm. And so whether that's family, whether that's your faith, whether it's friends, it's all important. Fortunately, I have an amazing family who supports me 110%.
Wow.
I've got people I talk to,
Mm-hmm.
and I know it's only between the two of us.
Nice.
My faith, I rely on that as well. And then, running. I've been a runner
Nice.
my pretty much my entire life. I was an athlete in high school, and it's amazing how many times, and I'm not exaggerating, how many times I've gone for a run. At the beginning of the run, there's been an issue or a conflict or something that I've tried to figure out, and I've gone on a run, and at the end of the run, it's very obvious to me what I need to do. And whether it's figure things out, whether it's to pray, or just kind of get away from it all kind of thing. Running has really, I don't run as much these days because of the gray hair and the artificial knee and some other things, but it's still one of my go-tos when I need to
find out.
Figure things out.
All right, so after this, I'm going to move to the rapid fire round.
Oh boy.
So this is a few questions that I want you to not think and instantly answer.
Okay.
First question is, one thing in the healthcare system that you never want to change?
I think some of the most beautiful stories that I hear from our hospital are just people taking care of people and caring about people. People that they never knew before they came in the hospital and will never see again after they leave the hospital, but while they're in the hospital, they're taking care of them. And certainly we're going to see a lot of changes technology-wise, and a lot of virtual things are in the future potentially, but ultimately we need people taking care of people.
Absolutely. Well, let me make it a little hard for you.
Yes.
One thing in the healthcare that you absolutely want us to change?
I think that we would want to change. There's a lot, honestly. Maybe going back to my information, I see physicians, we do rounds.
Yeah.
We do our multidisciplinary rounds, and I watch physicians try and get information, kind of getting back to information so we can make decisions. So I'd like to change the way that we gather information. And there's got to be some technology advances, I think, in the future that we can use to help make that more efficient. Right now, at times, it can be discombobulated and disjointed, and I think we can be much more efficient.
I think that's a very good thought. A lot of times as a physician, we can encounter patients on whom we don't know literally anything.
Yes.
And it's not that they're not being taken care of as an outpatient, it's just that we don't have that connection developed yet.
Right.
But yeah, that's a definitely good thought. There's room for us to improve as a healthcare community. As a leader yourself, tell me one leadership trait that you look for in growing leaders, younger people that you like.
I think I kind of referenced it when I was talking about Metropolitan. Ownership, accountability is something that is certainly a core item, trait that someone needs to have to be a successful, and something that I look for when we interview people. Maybe some others. When we interview people, there's a book that we use, Ideal Team Player, and it's about being humble, it's about being hungry, and about being smart. So those are the traits that we look for when we hire people. We want people that are humble, we want people that are hungry and that they're going to work hard, and we want people to be smart, not necessarily book smart, but people smart, and knowing themselves and can read a room and that kind of thing. So those are all, it's more than one, but those are all things that we look for.
That's a good answer. Perfect.
Yes.
Speaking of books, I like to read as much as I can.
Yeah.
Is there a book recommendation that you have for me and our listeners?
I'm trying to think. There's a lot. There's a couple. Can I say two?
Absolutely.
There's one book that I it's called Good to Great.
Okay.
I've read that several times, and I'm blanking on the name of the author, but it summarizes the life of a few different organizations and how they and the traits that the organizations that become great have, as opposed to others that have kind of gone the other direction. And I won't get into the qualities, but it's a great book. It's not a good book, it's a great book. Good to great. And then another one is Grit. It's Grit by Angela Duckworth. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I've definitely heard of that.
But that's an amazing book. It really is about kind of self-reflection, and it's honestly, I wish I had read it when my children were younger, because I think it could honestly help parenting, and it's not just about natural talent. It's about passion and desire, discipline, and grit, and getting there. So it's a great book.
Nice. And last question, a piece of advice for like maybe a 19-year-old who's listening to you who would one day like to run a hospital like you.
Read the book Grit. And I think as a young person, I think it's important to really know yourself, get to know yourself, and find out what makes you work, and find out what your passion is, and really attach yourself and navigate your life and yourself according to where your passions and desires are. And if you do it honestly and humbly and being yourself, it helps people understand you and trust you, which is really all about one of the key things with leadership, is being able to get people to trust you and hear you. And I think that's a tremendous key to have. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that was the most beautiful answer of this podcast, actually. Greg Seiler, it was an absolute privilege to have you here on the show.
Yes.
I hope our listeners enjoyed as much as I did.
Yes.
And we need to do this more frequently.
I would love to. Congratulate you on doing this. Again, I think this is amazing that you do it, and it's been an honor to be here with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you.